You might think I'm crazy, but there's a first time for everything, including this type of stream. Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD, and welcome to the Indonesian Grand Prix at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. Race 14 of 20, I think. Race 15 of 20 for MotoGP in 2024. So, it's a 14-point gap between points leader Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia, the two best Ducati drivers of the year. And MotoGP is entering its Asian swing as they'll go to Indonesia, Japan, Thailand, and also Australia and Malaysia before finishing off at Valencia. So this is the first of the Asian swing, and it's on, I believe, Mandalika is a street course. I never watched the Indonesian Grand Prix, mostly because it's at 3 in the morning Eastern Time. I don't know how I managed to stay awake this long, and it's going to make getting back to my apartment brutal. Making sure to get up in time to make sure the house is locked so nothing gets stolen. Anyway, I'm going to go over the starting lineup for today's race. Yeah, because they got one formation lap and it goes by, which is quick, and then they do the lights out and away we go. So all right, starting. So first off, one of the drivers will not start the race. That is Miguel Oliveira. He had a high side in Freeriders 1, and a high side is when you crash and then you get flung upwards off the bike, which also means when you hit the ground, you go splat. Well, maybe not splat, but it hurts. So he's not cleared to race, so he will not be in. So 21 cars, because there are 22, typically 11 teams with one driver. 22 into 20. 11 teams with two drivers for a total of 22. So 21 bikers on the grid. And of course, Miguel Oliveira was one of two drivers who had actually won here. Anyway, starting 21st, driving to number 37, KTM, so the RC16 for Red Bull Gas Tech 3, 29 years old from Almada, Portugal. From 27 years old from Madrid, Spain, Augusto Fernandez, currently 20th in points. Starting 20th, driving the number 36 Honda, the RC213V for Repsol Honda, 27 years old from Palma, Spain, Joan Mir, 19th in points. Starting 19th, driving the number 33 KTM, the RC16 for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, 29 years old from Potchefstroom, South Africa, Brad Binder, 5th in points. Starting 18th, driving the number 30 Honda, the RC213V. So obviously, I'm saying the manufacturer and then the exact bike specification, because some of them, even with the same manufacturer, might have a different specific bike, which is stupid. But driving the number 30 Honda, the RC213V for LCR Honda, 32 years old from Chiba, Japan, Takaki Nakagami. And starting 17th, driving the number 10 Honda, the RC213V for Repsol Honda, 27 years old from Urbino, Italy, Luca Marini. Also, so Nakagami, he is 18th in points. Marini is 24th in points because he's been outscored by wild cards. Drivers who only do a couple races a year. That's sad. And again, it just shows how crappy Honda is. Starting 16th, driving the number 43 KTM, the RC16 for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. 29 years old from Townsville, Australia, Jack Miller, 15th in points. Starting 15th, driving the number 42 YZR M1 Yamaha for Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP team. 28 years old from Barcelona, Spain, Alex Rins, 21st in points. Starting 14th, driving the number 73 Desmodici GP23 Ducati for Gresini Racing MotoGP. That being the old spec Ducati. 28 years old from Tavera, Spain, Alex Marquez. And starting 13th, driving with number 41, Aprilia RSGP24, the new spec Aprilia, for Aprilia Racing. 35 years old from Granollers, Spain. I don't know how to pronounce it. Alexis Progro, the oldest driver in the field. Starting 12th, driving the number 93, Desmedici GP23 Ducati for Gresini Racing MotoGP. 31 years old from Cervera, Spain, Marc Marquez. There are okay, no, forget what I was saying. There are two. I've mentioned which one of these? So there are an old spec Ducati and a new spec Ducati. Two teams that are Ducati have the old spec. Two have the new one. Gresini has the old one. Anyway, starting 11th, driving the number 25 RSGP 23 Aprilia for Trackhouse Racing. Yes, that Trackhouse Racing. 23 years old from Madrid, Spain, Raul Fernandez. There are two teams that run Aprilia. Four drivers, yet three of them have the new spec, and Fernandez has the old one. Poor soul. Starting 10th, driving the number 10 RSGP 24 Aprilia for Aprilia Racing. 29 years old from Figueres, Spain, Maverick Vinales. Also, because I forgot points again. So Alex, the last one I said was Rins, who was 21st in points. So Alex Marquez is 9th in points. Alexis Sprago is 8th in points. Marc Marquez is 4th in points. Raul Fernandez is 16th in points. Maverick Vinales is 7th in points. Starting 9th, driving the number 21, Desmedici GP24 Ducati for Prima Pramac Racing. 29 years old from Rome, Italy, Franco Morbidelli. 12th in points. Obviously, Prima Pramac has the new spec Ducati. Starting 8th, driving the number 49. Yeah, obviously we're in the top 10 now. Driving the 49, Desmedici GP23 Ducati for Pertamina Enduro VR46 Racing Team. So old spec Ducati for VR46. 25 years old from Rome, Italy, Fabio De Gianantonio, 10th in points. Starting 7th, driving the number 5, RC213V Honda for LCR Honda. 34 years old from Cannes, France, Johan Zarco, the highest starting Honda by a long shot. Highest starting Aprilia, which is farther back, was Vinales. Starting 6th, driving the number 20 Yamaha for the YZR M1 Yamaha for Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP team. 25 years old from Nice, France, Fabio Quartararo. So highest starting Yamaha. And starting 5th, driving the number 23, Desmedici GB24 Ducati for Ducati Lenovo team, the factory team. 26 years old from Rimini, Italy, Enea Bastianini. I forgot again. Johan Zarco, 17th in points. Quartararo, 13th, and Bastianini is 3rd. Starting 4th, driving the number 1 Desmedici GP24 Ducati for Ducati Lenovo team. 27 years old from Turin, Italy, Francesco Bagnaia, also known as Pecco Bagnaia. He's the last winner here at Indonesia, and he is 2nd in points. This brings us to the front row because MotoGP uses 3 motorcycle front rows. Well, 3-person front rows, or 3-person rows in general. Starting on the outside, driving the number 31 RC16 KTM for Red Bull Gas Tech 3. 20 years old from Mazarrón, Spain, Pedro Acosta, 6th in points, and the highest starting KTM. Starting 2nd, driving the number 72 Desmedici GP23 Ducati for Pertamina. I got here I love the opening music. How about that? Should open up the brightness. Alright, I gotta finish the front row. I'm almost there though. Alright, so Yeah, now it's really bright. So starting in the middle of the front row, driving the number 72, Desmodici GP23 Ducati for Pertamina Enduro VR46 Racing Team. 25 years old from Rimini, Italy. Marco Bezzecchi. He is 11th in points. And on pole, driving the number 89, Desmodici GP24 for Premac Racing. With a pole time of... Hold on. So let's do the pole time if I can get it to load. With a pole time of 1 minute 29.088 seconds, which is a record for the track. 26 years old from Madrid. 26 years old from Madrid, Spain is Jorge Martin, the points leader. That is your starting lineup for today's today's Indonesia Grand Prix at the Pertamina Mandalika International Circuit. All right.
People at home, what these riders are going through right now, sat on their bikes on this final warm-up lap.
Yeah, the warm-up
Admittedly, I'm not a humongous fan of I'm not the biggest fan of MotoGP. I think in some cases it's even harder to pass in Formula One in the sense that harder to catch up to a leader.
This is quite a nice feeling. You're like, all right, let me get some
so I think it's still worth watching. They go to different tracks. The Formula One, something like World Endurance Championship or IMSA or the World Endurance Championship.
Is very tricky. That's the turn 10. That's a great place to make.
Another interesting is that they have to run their whole race on the same set of tires. Well, they can, but if they can opt to change. But if you pit, you're probably boned.
The racing line is narrow. It's
So these races are also typically less than an hour long. So I think they're running 27 laps.
To pass. In previous years, there's been like 1 or 2 places. I mean, even from Friday, the track's in much better conditions. It's cured, it's settled, it's in really good nick. Hey, this is the corner though.
Turn 16, caught out Jorge Martin yesterday. How will that be playing on his mind?
It will be on his mind, especially on the first lap. If he's leading into there, all I can say is, if I was
Let me see if I can calculate race
I'd lose
distance.
time there. I wouldn't overforce that
miles
front.
I'll remind you, Marco
so
Bezzecchi's on the front row
72.36
alongside Pedro
miles.
Acosta with Martin on pole. Behind
Convert
Martin
that
sits Pecco
to
Bagnaia.
kilometers,
and Bastianini
116.45.
Fabio Quartararo
All right,
on
it'll
the
be
other.
27
Good
laps
race all
on this
weekend. Joe Antarco heads
2.68
up the
mile
front.
street
Marc Marquez
circuit.
is back in 12th on the grid. Pulled a great
The
start
bikes have
yesterday
lined up.
and was up to 5th by turn 1. Let's see what happens this time. 27 laps ahead of us.
Wait for the lights to turn on. That's the way they change. There's another way that's different. Oh, wait, lights on, off, and away we go in Indonesia. Good start for, I think, Bagnaia. He started he started in the second row. He's already up to second place. Defending two-time champion, wasting no time trying to track down his championship rival. Never mind, I got it wrong. It's Bastianini. Great. It's even harder to figure out what bikes are what. Oh, we already got, holy, 1, 2, 3, 4 bikes off already? That was the second turn. Oh, come on. Alexis Bragro, Jack Miller, Luca Marini, Joan Mir. Alex Marquez. Oh, wait, no. Alex Marquez is out. Alex Marquez, Alexis Sprago, Jack Miller, and I guess Luca Marini is the 4th one. Yeah. Unbelievable. So 20% of the field is already out. Great start. So Bagnaia is back and forth.
Now we're going to see if he can hold his nerve in the heat.
So yeah, there were both Ducatis are in the second row. So the one I saw so it was one making a pass. So I just forgot that Bastianini started back that far.
Yeah, absolutely. This looks a bit messy.
Anyway,
Let's hope all the riders are okay.
But here we go. On the inside.
Fez.
Through. Oh, sorry. Frankie Morbidelli also through.
Frankie Morbidelli saw it.
Wait, Bagnaia back to 6th place. He just lost 2 positions. Marco Bezzecchi and Franco Morbidelli. All right, lap 2.
Don't tell me Bagnaia's got more problems in the early parts of this race. I will say,
frankly, this championship, it's almost been an effort to outsuck each other between Bagnaia and Martin because they both keep making mistakes.
Come up to temperature. We've seen a lot
still to see the bikes laying in sector 1 because the yellow flag's out there. I believe they're not allowed to pass. The MotoGP, unlike Formula 1, is 4 sectors.
Acosta in third will be happy with the medium tyre in the rear of his bike, not vibrating basically as much as the soft tyre has been.
Let's see how this happens
here into turn 2 and 3. Is it on the change of direction? It's messy, it's tight. It's Jack. Yeah,
Jack Miller is the one who hit the curb, fell, and it caused a chain reaction. He hit Alex Marquez in front of him. I think some bikes behind him were 2 behind him. So Luca Marini and Alexis Fragro.
You're too aggressive at that point, and down to a face plant.
Let's hope everyone's okay, because that was a pretty nasty collision that was going on there. Morbidelli's looking good, isn't he, in these early laps? That front soft tyre will work at this stage. And we talk about rear tyre wear a lot as Pedro Acosta goes to the outside of Bastianini. That's brave, isn't it, from Pedro?
That's trust as well, because then if
also, so I got to update the points. So the point system is also different. I think it's 25 for first, 20 for second, and I don't remember how many for third. But the top 15 that score points instead of top 10, like it is in every other FIA sanctioned series. Then again, this is FIM as opposed to FIA. All right. So Martin Keane leads, Bastianini second, Acosta third. Okay, Bezzecchi third, Morbidelli Bezzecchi fourth, Morbidelli fifth, Bagnaia sixth, Marc Marquez seventh. Okay, that is number wrong. Seventh, eighth is Gian Antonio, fifth is ninth is Zarco, 10th is Vinales, Binders 11th, 12th is Raul Fernandez, 13th is Quartararo, 14th is Augusto Fernandez, and 15th is Takaki Nakagami. There we go.
And runs it wide. Gian Antonio has gone with the soft rear, Neil.
Ooh! The battle for 7th between Gian Antonio and Marquez. Marquez making defending 7th place, defending 7th place.
I thought they were both going down there. We've seen them before. There was no room.
But the yellow flag is still out in sector 1.
I think it was.
So they had to go through another lap without able to pass the sector. And there goes Pedro Acosta to P2.
Stressful turn 16. Got it stopped. There was room. The natural racing line around that corner. And
Acosta is a rookie, by the way. He's been performing really well on the customer red KTM team. So he'll be going to the factory team next year.
These eyes weakest laps of the race. This is certain. We probably get to about 5 in. More confidence with the front end, but with a lighter fuel tank. This is where he comes into his own.
Yeah, and it's also, you've got to factor into it. This is why Bastianini has more tyre at the end of the races. He's not quite as aggressive as some of his rivals. He does.
Bastianini won the last race at San Marino. So the Misano World Circuit runner Simon Shelley, a very controversial move he made on the final lap, kind of driving Jorge Martin off the track to take the win.
In front of Bastianini.
He did not get penalized for it, though. So I guess it's 12 points for 6th in this system. So a 13-point gap gain for Jorge Martin as they run. As we are now on lap number 4, the yellow flag has been lifted. So sector 1 can have passing.
0.3 of a second in his pocket. Do you know what? It's more like 0.4 of a second. He's absolutely controlling this race. But I will remind you, a year ago he was doing exactly the same. Got a 3-second lead. Pretty much the race was done. Not too many laps to go, and he crashed then. So that will be playing on his mind also.
It was past the halfway point, wasn't it?
It was.
Cross.
All right, lap 5. Fastest lap to Jorge Martin. I believe you get an extra point for that.
Bastianini was wide there.
Yeah, Morbidelli didn't need a second invitation.
Did a great job for Pramac here.
Franco Morbidelli up to 3rd.
From 12,
the teammate
to all the way back out to 27. Having been 20
He also, so he was in
the
fifth
weekend,
before.
I
Now he's
think
up to
Martin would have taken that following yesterday.
the third. The teammate to Jorge Martin has been way
Way
underperforming his championship contender.
You look at the next KTM runners,
And that's on the factory Ducati bike.
down
Maybe
in
not,
ninth place.
so not maybe not necessarily as good as it's not the factory team, but still, you've got the best bike.
Slightly wide.
Like Ducati is the best, followed by KTM. Then Yamaha is way below that, and Honda is even way below that.
Has a shot still on the podium.
And that should be Aprilia's in the middle. And yet somehow, with KTM definitely being better, Aprilia has actually won a race. With Maverick Vinales winning a Coda.
The longer race, you have to run the medium, really. So I think that's why Bagnaya's struggling.
Ooh, that was
looking
between
tight.
Marquez and Bagnaia at the front. Acosta, he just closed down a little bit.
Brad Binder,
It's been a good lap. Yeah, fastest lap of the race as well. 31-0. Pedro Acosta. He fancied it coming here this weekend.
Maybe I forgot to type Brad Binder.
Here we go for Mark Marquez.
A long way back.
He's going to go wide.
Definitely going wide. But he's going to open the door for
Mark
Marquez.
Marquez makes the pass for. Oh! That was a
just
shaky.
trying to-
Made the pass. The guy got shaky, and he got passed
That was a
by
Di Gian Antonio.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's Di Gian
God.
Antonio who was just in behind him.
So the
So
49 made it
Tell
past
me
the
the
93,
different
I
colours.
think.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it's thrown me off ever so slightly.
So it's number 49. But he has, as I say, got the soft rear tyre in his bike in theory.
Yeah.
That's not going to last, is it?
No.
Oh,
The
man.
fact there's
I was in the
is
wrong.
it we've got 21 MotoGP
Wait, why do I have a
riders.
13? The 13 should have been the
This isn't
33.
move, though, Neil. Sorry,
he is,
it's just
he is.
through on Bastianini at turn
Lap
10.
6 now.
I'll tell you what,
1.3
Bagnaia
second
in
gap
turns having
from
to
Jorge
hold
Martin to
on.
Pedro Acosta in second. Another 8 tenths back to third place, Franco Morbidelli.
This is costing Bagnaia crucial time in this race. Here he comes.
There goes Gian Antonio
And
up
it
to
will be
6th
Bagnaia
place.
standing still. Because he's got soft tyre front and rear in that bike. He's going to run wide. And Marquez will not need a second invitation to come back in front of him.
I was about to say Marquez and Digi don't get on as well. That's another one.
Oh, wait, and Bagnaia made his way past.
Yeah.
But right back to Gian Antonio. I think Mark Marquez
So,
repasses to Gian Antonio.
As Bagnaia and Marquez go back in front of Gian Antonio, but Digi showing in these early laps that he has more pace, but will he have tyre come the end of the race?
They called Gian Antonio Digi.
Closed in. It's now
They should just
down
say
to
Pecco for
1.1 at
Francesco
the front.
Bagnaia.
It was
They have to say
1.5
Pecco
a few
instead of
laps
Bagnaia.
ago.
You know what? It's encouraging.
Interesting,
for the
like,
rest
so
of the
many
field,
bikers,
actually,
they're
isn't
from
it?
Spain or
We're on board
Italy.
here with Marc Marquez. It's a little bit
It's like
deeper into the
Formula
corner
1 with the
Bagnaia.
UK and Germany.
Should mean that Bagnaia will get a better exit. Because Morbidelli and Bezzecchi with the soft fronts.
Why are we
have
watching
gone
the
through on
restart
Bastianini.
again?
It just helps Bagnaia. Let's see what happened.
Oh my God, his bike wheelied.
It doesn't spin, it's just a
Like,
jerky
so
start.
it wasn't able to get going at all.
Bez's front ride-out device isn't down.
Yeah, looks like it. I think you're right.
Yeah. Like, if you look at Jorge Martin,
Yeah,
yeah, it is. He didn't get it down, look. And that's why he got a bad start.
cost him. Seen that before for Marc Marquez. Was that back in Austria?
Yeah.
Marquez hung out to try on the outside. He went to the inside yesterday, tried a different technique. But the problem there is, Neil, you're on the dirty
Dirty.
part of the racetrack.
Yeah, and now at that point where he is, there's nothing you can do. You're a passenger.
So Morbidelli then pulled through on the inside. This is the battle for
Francesco,
sixth,
but Pecco
sixth
has
between
a
Bagnaia,
over 1 second
Marquez,
gap to
and
5th place.
Gian
My God.
Antonio. But Neil, we have to remind people about what happened here 1 year ago.
Yeah, with the Jorge
Lap
Martin
7.
checking out. Thought he'd won the race, and then he was down. And the tyres, remember the lap times from a year ago. I mean, the lap times dropped off at least 2 seconds a lap by the end.
Well, Maverick Vinales was leading, wasn't he? For most of the
Nakagami
remainder
up
of
to
the race, and then suddenly
14th ahead of
Bagnaia hunted him down.
Augusto
He went through.
Fernandez, I
And then suddenly
believe.
Fabio Quartararo came through. Quartararo is down in 13th, I'm afraid to say. So starting 6th, he hasn't been able to capitalise on that.
Jorge Martin responded. He saw the gap come down to 1.1. He's just edged it back up to 1.3. He wants to control this race. You don't want to encourage Pedro Acosta.
Now, so for track violations, track limit violations, they have those in MotoGP. Instead of having seconds added to their time, or maybe having to make an extra pit stop, they'd have to do a long lap penalty. So there'd be a section of the track that is on a turn maybe that's longer than normal. They would have to run that, or get the seconds added to their time. For 7th, Gian Antonio made it through the inside, but Marc Marquez retakes it. That's going to help Bagnaia get away from both of them.
Now, though. He's so much more confident than he used to be. He's quite an aggressive rider. Here we go. From miles back. From absolutely miles back. There you go.
Gian Antonio repasses again.
Little slip from Marquez as he applied the throttle coming out of turn 16, and so he's back into 8th place.
Lap 9 now we're on.
Said he didn't really have top 5 pace this weekend. As the
New fastest lap, check Pecco Bagnaia.
Bagnaia in 6th, 4.1 behind Jorge Martin. It's not Misano 2 all over again.
Just going to say, shades of last weekend. From nowhere, Bagnaia, who looked like he didn't have a good setting, didn't look comfortable, all of a sudden set the lap record. Let's hope it's not deja vu, because the last thing we need to see is Bagnaia tuck in the front.
Well, he's had the warning, and as he said, this is a championship of mistakes.
Track limit warning for Augusto Fernandez.
We have seen 10 of them from the lead riders. 4 to this man, if we include his choice to pit back in Misano.
Talking about all the scrubs.
Yeah, we also...
Oh, we got a biker off. Gian Antonio is crashed out of the race, or at least most definitely out of the points. He might... And I never understand, like, some drivers riders won't restart, some rarely they do, but Joan Mir moves into the points.
Approaching it at a high speed.
Munoz looking a little bit glum down there in the VR46 box, right at the front.
Now yellow flag in the 3rd sector as a result.
Ever so slightly on this lap. And then Frankie Morbidelli in 3rd, Bezzecchi in 4th. But you've got to feel with the soft front tyre in, however much they'll be trying and hoping to manage this.
Franco Morbidelli sets the fastest lap, but then again, Bagnaia.
Bagnaia will soon start to claw in that gap.
Someone's down. Oh no, is that...
That was high up
almost
on
a
the
little
curb, though, wasn't it?
stumble almost there by Bagnaia.
Using a lot of the curbs.
Taking risks. He has to.
Yeah, he has to.
This is his championship that's slipping through his fingers. He was lucky yesterday.
He was.
He knows he was.
Yeah.
I like the little mind games he said to Jorge Martin. The
thing is, you might assume, like, these guys must be winning so many races. Oh, Bagnaia, who's second in points, has won 7 times. Jorge Martinez won twice, and hasn't won, and he hasn't won since, I think, March, since April.
Well, I hope it's my gap today. It's a more correct way of putting it.
Anyway, 16 bikers left, riders left.
Here is Bagnaia. He's just set another fastest lap of the race.
There might not be enough drivers for total points positions.
That beats Bastianini's from last year.
We're on lap 10.
Quicker, Neil. And they went in the sprint yesterday. That's wide.
Oh, wide by Marco Bezzecchi, but not enough for Enea Bastianini to make the pass. It looks like Marc Marquez has completely vanished from the back of Pecco Bagnaia.
They're moving around a lot, especially the braking zones.
At the front, the gap's under a second, Neil.
Pedro Acosta catching up to Jorge Martin, it looks like.
Whereas Martin, a 131.2. That's encouragement for Acosta. It's encouragement for this race. Martin is, to up his pace all of a sudden.
Lap 11, by the way.
Second, we'll have to take some risks.
Well, the team said they'd found something with Acosta's bike, but I just thought that was... I've heard that a few times. It's that... trying to send positive messages out there, but... I mean, you look at Pedro, this is... He said he was looking forward to riding here. He loves Mandalika. Won here last year in Moto 2.
Why do they call this a street circuit? This does not look like a street circuit.
As you know, Gav, you went to
or maybe it is, and Indonesian roads are just made differently.
The hot, slippery go-kart tracks of Murcia.
He's making up time in Sector 1 and Sector 4.
Yeah.
Where
you have the tighter sections.
Yeah,
so Acosta making up time in the technical corners, the slow turns.
I don't think he's...
So Martin's the Ducati right now is faster on the straightaways.
They'll be just clicking off the laps, not risking too much around turn 16, where Pedro's chasing, he's trying to claw in the gap. And actually, it's such a funny part of the track that if you've got somebody in front of you, you've got someone to gauge, it's really easy just to close in.
Fastest rider on circuit on that last lap, Neil, was Frankie Morbidelli. And as Acosta sets a new fastest lap of the race, Martin responded, and then Bagnaia goes even quicker. A 1:30.5 from Pecco Bagnaia. These are stunning lap times.
Another fastest lap for Bagnaia.
It's all about
No idea what
dosing
his tire
it,
configuration is, though.
And as Bagnaia is just trying to judge things, he's only 3.4 seconds behind Martin now, having been over 4 seconds at one point.
Yeah, but then still such
Anyway,
a
lap
long
12.
way to go in this race. 16 laps to go.
And a lot of people to get through.
Yeah. And how much tyre you're going to have left?
Is he pushing it? Just good point. Even if he does, maybe he has a better late race tire configuration. Maverick Vinales is up to 9th ahead of Johan Zarco.
Engaged, especially through the faster corners, what are coming up.
Wait, why'd I put...
It's a superb track.
No.
Just saw the waves crashing on the reef just to the back of the circuit there at turn 10. Beautiful part of the world. We really enjoyed our time here on Lombard.
Oh!
Marquez, is he down or is it the bike problem? The bike's cut out.
Mechanical failure for the number 93 bike. It's on fire.
Quick takes it to the marshals.
Only 13, no, only 15. Well, so as long as the remaining bikes can finish, they're earning points. This puts Alex Rins in the point position, the last point position.
Fire extinguisher himself. No,
We've
there
lost
he is.
6 bikes so far.
What's happened here then?
There's been a lot of them this year, unfortunately. And that, you'd have to say, is the end of his championship, really.
Well, no one really had a chance outside of, outside of Jorge Martin or Pecco Bagnaia.
Right, so that'll be oil then dripping.
But it's just been the resurgence
the engine onto
of
exhaust onto the bits, and then
Marc Marquez,
catches on
considering
from there.
the
So
last
Marquez
several
drops
years
out
with
of the race.
Honda were miserable.
At the front, the gap between Jorge Martin and Pedro Acosta down to 6 tenths.
Oh, come on! Joan Mir has wrecked out of the Indonesian Grand Prix. Now we only have 14 bikers left. And typically, if a rider has wrecked out, they don't earn points. Now we're down to 14.
Getting to that point, getting close to the half race distance, your feet will be burning.
And then add on top of that,
Let me look up the point system for MotoGP.
Huge vibrations coming from his bike this weekend. The way it was reacting with the tyres.
Anyway, we're on lap 13 now. Let's see, 25 for the win, 20 for second, third for 16 for third, 13 for fourth. Enea Bastianini on Marco Bezzecchi for fourth position.
And now Bastianini through.
Wait,
This will be interesting. Next lap,
Bezzecchi's been ahead for a while, and I just forgot to change it.
He's got a bit of room in front of him to Frankie
That's my
Morbidelli.
fault.
0.4 of a second.
Gap between Bastianini and Martin at 2.6. The gap from Bagnaia and Martin at 3 seconds. Remember, we said it was over 4 seconds at one
So
point.
13 points for fourth, 11 for fifth,
Martin has so many
and
things
then
going
from
on
6th
inside
through
his mind.
15th it's 10,
Yesterday's
and then
crash,
7th,
last year's crash,
9
the
for 7th,
championship
8 for
lead.
8th, and so on
Not
down to
making
1.
another mistake.
Sprint races, which are on the weekend, on the Saturday before, which I don't cover because they don't count for wins. 12 points for winning a sprint, 9 for second, and then third for 7, 12 for the win, 9 for second, and then 7 for third, 6 for fourth, and so on down to 1 point for 9th
Absolutely
place.
stunning down in turn 10. Half race distance, 13 and
Also
a half
why I
laps
will
now,
not do any
13
F1
and a half to
sprint
go.
races.
Martin leads
That's
by
stupid.
less than a second from Pedro Acosta, who is looking to become the second youngest MotoGP
Lap
winner.
14.
And this is the point now where normally lap times start to go a little bit slower, and this man keeps it consistent. And Enea Bastianini has got past Bez. He's now closing up. And Frankie Morbidelli, is he going to... Not quite close enough to have a look there.
Gap just going out again.
Fabio Quartararo has passed Raul Fernandez for 10th place.
30.7 from Martin, 30.9 that time from Acosta. But
Maverick
who's quicker?
Vinales with a track
The
limits
both of them up
violation.
front, Enea Bastianini
They don't So that's still a
Pecco
warning.
Bagnaia, but Bastianini runs deep in turn 1. He has to get through quickly on Morbidelli, or his chance at victory could well go.
Yeah, so where's he going to do it? I'm going to say he's going to try and get a run down into 10.
Lap 15. We're now past the halfway point.
On the timing screens, Neil. Jorge Martin has just set his personal best lap of the race.
Was it
There's
the
no
fastest
doubt
lap,
about
though?
it. I think you're absolutely spot on when you say he
Hold on.
is managing
So,
things out front.
are there bonus
Bastianini's going
points?
to get the run here.
Points
Not
for...
quite close
I'm
enough.
not sure.
Morbidelli going to run a little bit deep, though. His rear wheel was in the air, but he pulls it down superbly, the Italian.
I feel also now Bagnaia stalled, hasn't he?
Wide again, sorry, from Morbidelli there in turn 11, but yeah.
Right, he's going to dive up the inside. It'll be tight if he does. No. Thought he was going to have a look then. Right, so the beast is close enough. He's setting this one up. He's going to get the run down towards 15. Through 15. Yeah.
Okay, no bonus
No,
points
Tell you
for
what,
fastest lap.
Morbidelli, that first part,
Maybe pole, I'm not sure.
he needs to be a couple of bike lengths nearer at that point.
Bagnaia had a bad lap last time around.
About
He was
9/10
out
gap
to the
from
31s.
Jorge
We
Martin
do
to
have
Pedro
the situation
Acosta,
that we
then
haven't talked
2.5
about
to
it,
the
but
pack
top
running
races at the
from
front,
third
when
through
you're running
6,
in
and then it's
like this,
9.8 back to
the
Maverick
pressures will be going
Vinales.
through the roof, be ballooning.
Well, you could see Bastianini then. When he got to the braking zone, he was way...
Here we go, Bastianini, is it? Oh!
Bastianini trying to go for
This is a
third.
good move.
Oh, that's a lovely one. He set that up so nicely.
Oh!
Morbidelli makes
That's-
contact with him.
Oh man, that was so close for third. Morbidelli's holding on.
Frankie Morbidelli.
But
You know who
Bastianini's,
that to be?
his bike is set up, I think, to come back on the later,
Lead on the
on the latter half of the race.
essentially.
Probably
But the next
a more
corner was
durable
lovely
tire.
left-hander, and
I think
he hit the
Morbidelli
inside.
was running
It's the
soft
Morbidelli
to
of
start,
It is.
at least soft on the front
And
tire,
he's fighting to stay
I
in the
think.
podium hunt. He's also protecting
but
his
not able to
teammate
make the
in
pass.
some ways,
We're on
doing
lap
work
number
for his
16 of
team here,
27.
keeping Bastianini at bay. That move right there could have helped Jorge Martin win this race.
Yeah.
Morbidelli defending for
Looking
his
at this point
teammate
now,
in a
Bastianini's
way.
bike's turning better. Everywhere it looks like he can get the bike turning. It's like he's got that little bit more grip.
Bagnaia's had another not great lap. The gap was 4.1. It was down to 3.
Bagnaia has lost lost touch with the bike ahead of him, Marco Bezzecchi.
And Bastianini trying to work out a way round on Morbidelli, but Morbidelli too strong. Right, will he go again in the same part of the racetrack?
What's interesting in there, Bez can carry so much more speed into there, but that's a soft front. That's that part of the track.
Lap
Pedro Costa's
17.
been given the mapping 2. So whatever he'll do to the possibly about fuel consumption.
Yeah, could be. Look at him, Bastianini.
It's turning, isn't it? And now Morbidelli knows that
Yeah,
that's
you
a
blocked that one
problem
off
part.
there.
Yeah.
Look at the beast. Again, much tighter.
So let's see,
On the hard
Bastianini's
front
on the
tyre.
hards. At least
Moving
one of
through
them is
there,
hard, tires
Bastianini's
is hard.
fishtailing.
The driver behind and ahead of him are on
This is
slick.
the-
Trying to set it up through here.
Yeah,
Trying to
or
get the
soft.
run. Can he get the run? No. Not close enough. So if you try from there, you are not getting it stopped.
He's almost now in this position, got to force Morbidelli into
Well, there
a
it
bit of
goes.
a
Well,
mistake.
Bagnaia close to get made up to the ground there.
Make him defend, make him throw it into an apex and run wide. Here we go. Bastianini's come to something up in turn 12.
It's a great move.
And he will just hang him on the outside here.
Yeah.
Morbidelli, I thought he might tough it out on the outside.
Yeah, that'd have been a mistake, 'cause I think he'd have ended up in the gravel.
Here we go, though. Morbidelli will have a great run. He's so fast through this part of the racetrack in turn 15. Oh, he's got on the wrong side, has he?
Oh,
Has he? Is he
Bastianini
able
made
to
his
put
way
it
to
back
third.
down? No, he's not. No, he's not. Bastianini has worked that out. He's had a few goes at a few different parts of the racetrack. At the front, Neil, half a second the gap. Half a second
Getting
the gap.
closer
It's been a
front.
mistake
We have
from
10 to
Martin.
go.
Must have been a mistake. Yeah, 0.6 over the line. Pedro was 0.3 of a second on that lap faster.
Lap times have just suddenly dropped considerably.
Yeah, and look, already at near Bastianini's breaking away.
Right, the gap he's got now, 2.7 to Pedro Acosta. He's been released as Bastianini.
2.7, 10 laps to go. Can he do it?
It's an Air Bastianini
Yes,
in the
he
late
can.
stage of a race.
Yes, he
We've
can.
seen him take 3-4 tenths off people in the past.
Yeah.
He was doing it last year. It's just he was going for a long way back last year. Right, 9.5 to go. Martin's gap to Acosta, 0.7. He's not even been shown a wheel yet in this race, Martin. Now Morbidelli and Bezzecchi battling for fourth. Pecco Bagnaia has just had a couple of laps
Deleted?
off, I'll say. Just been sat there.
Oh, just bad laps.
Cooler air on his front tyre. Already, Bastianini has closed the gap 0.4 to Acosta in front.
Unbelievable.
Bastianini is coming, ladies and gentlemen, with just over 9 laps remaining. He might not have been in that shot, was just about coming into turn 15 and into 16 now. But Martin, you feel, is holding something back. Let's have a look at the tyres, Neil. Can you see anything?
Yeah, I can. They look absolutely perfect. They do.
Across the line, what's the gap? Back to 0.9.
Yeah.
9 to go. All right, the last third of the race.
Compared to Martin, Neil, 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And I can try to go
He's
to
throwing
sleep.
everything at it. He's risking everything. If Enea Bastianini wants to win this championship, he has to win today. The main races, you can't give up any more points.
And that's what he said. I will risk everything. That's the only chance I've got. I look forward to seeing it.
Oh, someone's flapping around. Oh, is that normal?
It's like the inside of his leather, isn't it? Fabio Quartararo's
Oh, he
made
hit
a
the
few
ground.
positions. We've only got 14 runners. He's just got through
Well,
on
with his
Zarco.
right
He's in
foot.
touch with Brad Binder.
In that first split, Bastianini's taken out 0.2 in that relatively small sector.
And another 10th in the second sector. And
Wow.
all of this, he might be eating up the ground to Acosta, but he's also doing it to Martin.
Ooh.
Here we go for Bez.
Oh, Bez.
He copies
Marco
Bastianini's
Bezzecchi
move, but he's
by
not able to bring it down
Franco
like Bastianini
Morbidelli
was.
for 5th, I think.
Oh, Bagnaia,
Ooh.
Pecco. Oh, thought about it.
I guess, or maybe it's a different
Went
pass,
for
or
it.
an attempted
It
pass.
wasn't there.
Bagnaia tried to pass Bezzecchi and was not able to.
Fast here into, down into 16. Not that time.
Well, this is the Bagnaia pace that we sort of expected at the weekend. He said he'd found something yesterday, but it hasn't translated to the race.
Maverick Vinales and Fabio Quartararo have made a move.
The gap
So-
coming down again.
Wow, Bastianini.
Wait,
takes
why
the
does the
best lap of
33 in
race.
here?
That's a second quicker than Martin on that last lap.
Imagine having half a second at this point in the race.
If only Enea Bastianini could do first 5 laps of the race, he'd be a
21,
world champion.
But is that the
72,
reason why you
112.
can do the lap times now?
Quite possibly.
It's that
Okay,
trade-off.
never mind.
He's
Binder's so Binder's fallen back. Quartararo's up. Vinales also slightly more up.
Through the fast part of the
Alex
racetrack.
Rins by Augusto
Love this
Fernandez for
It's a great
13th.
part, isn't it?
It really
Up
is.
and over the crest.
Yeah.
Through
8 to
8
go.
Into turn 9 now, and then the run to turn 10. Here comes Bezzecchi again.
Bezzecchi
Out
going
of
for
shape,
nope.
just like
Can't make the run for
yesterday.
4th.
And this time he is able to bring it down to the apex. That's where he ran off course, almost took out Bagnaia.
Through another half a second off Bastianini. Look at him, he's coming there.
Gap 2.7 seconds now between Bastianini and Martin. He lost
Track
time
limits violation for
trying to
Brad
get
Binder.
through on Morbidelli. When
Yeah.
we were talking about that moment, that could be the one that saves Jorge today.
There's still plenty of time left though.
At that pace.
At the pace is going now, yeah. We're going to have just about to start. 7 laps to go.
Right, across the line. Jorge Martin. 1 second. Oh, the fastest lap of the race from Enea Bastianini now. 2/10 quicker than Martin on that last lap.
Right.
Augusto Fernandez is retired.
7
with a
laps to
technical
go.
issue.
Oh!
Bastianini
Is that Bagnaia?
That is his championship gone right there.
Oh, it's Bastianini. It's Bastianini that went off. Oh my God.
There's a
Enea
reason.
Bastianini.
Great.
There's
Well,
a reason he's
one
the
bike
second fastest
retires,
lap.
another one wrecks
Just
out.
over the
We're now down to 12
Problem
bikes.
is, It's the normal
What a-
2024
well-
crash braking zone. We've seen.
That'll help
obviously, we've
Bagnaia.
seen
It gave him a
we've seen Jorge
position, but
Martin do that, and it's natural for the riders. Where do you make up time? You try and
4,
pinch a yard in the brakes or a few inches. You keep
wait, whatever is
increasing it, keep
47.
increasing
Rins is
it.
40. Is
Unfortunately,
number 42.
with the front tyre, with a hard front tyre, you've maximum grip, then you've no grip, and down you go.
The arms to the air there from Davide Tardossi suggests that he goes, well, that explains why Bastianini was making up so
We
much
have
time.
12 bikes
But
left. Enter the weekend with 22. We started, race started with 21.
For this championship is to go to the limit,
You know, that's what you mean.
and that's going to
Risk
happen.
everything. Yeah. That
Now it's the
like
battle
some-
for, now the
many
three-way battle for
crashes that
fourth
we've
is
had
now a
this
fight
year
for the
that look
podium
Very similar to that one.
Now
and
there are
more
only
points.
12 riders in this race, Neil. Remarkable scenes.
We're on,
here.
we have 7 to go,
Late
now 6 to
afternoon
go, so
in
we're on lap
Indonesia. I hope
22.
you're enjoying this. If you have joined us early in the morning in the UK, this is
Johan Zarco by Brad Binder for 8th place.
Jorge Martin has finally broken Pedro
Or I guess that was
Costa, I feel.
defending a
He's
position.
back into the 1:30s, a twitch from
No, wait.
Bezzecchi. We'll give
No, it's
encouragement
not.
to
That's a
Bagnaia.
change.
Do you think these three know each other?
No, strengths and weaknesses there.
Yeah, I mean, literally. The guys that's
Now, this battle is, the battle for third is 5 seconds behind the lead.
Together. Really good friends. So, if there is a pass, you'd like to think it'll be kept as clean as possible, but how do you do that on this track? It's difficult, as we've seen.
You can see how narrow the racing line really is. Not as bad as it was last year, but still. Oh, here we go again with Bezzecchi, and he's going to run wide, and this
Not
time
able to make it.
Bagnaia taking no
Bagnaia
prisoners,
goes to 5th or
up
4th.
and picks up another couple of points as he goes into 4th. That's 13 now, rather than the 11 he was in before. The 10 he had when he was running 6th before Bastianini crashed out. There's a podium in sight here for Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah, definitely. And it was such a great shot, that aerial view. Really, you can appreciate a small mistake, you pay a big price. You can lose so much time.
Look at the marking on the left-hand side of the rear tyre for Frankie Morbidelli.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was going
I thought it was as well.
to T-bone him then.
Have a look at the rear left of Morbidelli's rear tyre. There's
I
a
don't know, I'm
distinct mark on it. So we'll see if that comes into play later in
5
this
to go,
race.
by the way.
Frankie being encouraged on, willed on by his Prima Pramac team, because they know if he can just nick this extra 3 points from Bagnaia, that's crucial for the championship. Bagnaia gets through and the gap's down to 21. And net over the weekend, Bagnaia has made inroads.
Yeah. Albeit only 3 points.
Now, as it stands, it's as we were coming into Indonesia. But you feel like Bagnaia's bike is turning better. You can see Morbidelli having his moments. You can see the marking on the
He's
left-hand
like
side
defending.
of his rear tyre.
He's always in complete defense mode.
Fabio Quartararo on that last lap was the only one.
Oh, here goes Bagnaia with a bonsai move down the straightaway. Well, there it is. He just got a really good run down the straightaway. He's up to 3rd.
From a long way back at turn 10 on Frankie. And he's up into the podium spots. We didn't know if we were going to be saying that today.
No, at one point when he was down in 7th place, dropping back.
There's Bastianini, devastated.
Clapping. Enea Bastianini, he'll appreciate.
Now we're at the points gap to 21.
Absolutely.
That rider risking, not this one.
Yeah.
He would want this man throwing it down the road.
No, that is a fact. There's 5 laps to go. Gap at the front's 1.7. You feel like Martin didn't control it. There was that period in the middle of the race where the gap came down, but he didn't panic. And he's eked it back up to, say, 1.8 now over the line.
So Bagnaia will pick up 16 points. It looks like Martin's got 25. 9 the swing. And as
4
you
to
can
go.
see, Bagnaia heading to Japan, a track that he loves, the track he gets on with, 21 behind Jorge Martin. Further back, Johan Zarco in 8th, another good ride after an 8th place in the sprint yesterday. Fabio Quartararo just ahead of him, and Quartararo is closing in on Vinales in front. Vinales is the top Aprilia. Well, there's only 2 left in this race, with Miguel Oliveira not riding today. He's there in 6th, but it's a far cry from battling Bagnaia for victory a year ago.
Yeah. It's been a good weekend for Yamaha in general, but it all went wrong off the start today. He went backward, dropped like a stone, did Fabio, and this will be a long, tedious race.
Through turn 12, Morbidelli and Bezzecchi, good pals, hang out obviously at the ranch in Tavulia, underneath the tutelage of Valentino Rossi, as does Pecco Bagnaia. They've all scrapped for 3rd today. Bagnaia's got the upper hand there. Who's going to have the bragging rights between these two? Morbidelli on this year's bike, Bezzecchi on last year's bike. Into the final corner. There'll be 3 laps remaining as Martin already has crossed the line. He's got 2.3
Lap 25, 3 laps to go. The gap is 2.3 seconds, or close to 2.4 over Pedro
Quick
Acosta.
word on Pedro Acosta, Neil.
Outstanding.
He will go back ahead of Brad Binder in the championship into 5th place. And for Acosta, that will be his 4th podium in a main race this year. Yes. When KTM's have had one other with Brad Binder, that's remarkable from a rookie.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously a special talent. We saw him on the grid, didn't you? I mean, talk about eye of the tiger. He was in the zone, so posted. Look at the lap times, though. And to do your fastest lap at lap 14, but look how consistent that is. And that's a man riding within himself. He could probably go, I'd say he could go a couple of tenths per lap quicker, but he doesn't want to risk it. He has been on fire. He has responded so well to that from that crash yesterday.
He's got this uncanny ability this year of putting things behind him. We asked him about it yesterday and he said turning the page has been a big part of this season. They've needed to, because both he and Bagnaia have made big mistakes at crucial moments. You feel like there's going to be more, Neil, before the end of the year. You said at some point in these final 5 races there will be a head-to-head and there will be a collision.
Yes, there will be. It's just the odds say that. Oh, they're from Mudguard there.
That's a football car of a Yamaha, is it? Looks like it.
If you
2 to go.
That was straight away.
To lap
It had the Monster
26.
logo on it.
Okay,
So I'm
right.
guessing it was the Yamaha
I'm
one.
going to give you a gold watch. Well, I'm not, actually. Well, in fact, no, I'll buy you one tonight. or another bracelet. Oh, how nice is this now for you? If you're Jorge Martin, you've 1.5 laps to go, you've 2.5 second lead. You crashed out of the lead yesterday.
Don't
he will
say
not
it.
slept a wink. The whole paddock suffered from jet lag. We came straight from Europe. It was a long trip to get here. 3 different flights. Like I say, everyone's got jet lag. And it's no different for the riders, and they can't take any sort of sleep aids because obviously they get drug tested and there's lots of banned things. So you have to be super careful. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is this man won't have slept a wink last night. He'll have been reliving his mistake. But he came out this morning in the morning warm-up and he got into that rhythm straight away. Controlled the morning warm-up. He was so fast, consistent, and he's controlled this race.
He's ridden superbly. Again, he has put the past behind and looked to the future. Well, the future is him opening up the gap that had closed to 12 points overnight by another 9 points, because he's going to take 25. Pedro Acosta's going to take 20. And Pecco Bagnaia has just 1 lap.
All right,
Still
white
16
flag
points.
is out. Last
I
lap
think
in Indonesia.
After Friday, would
At
Bagnaia have taken
Mandalika,
that?
basically.
Yes, definitely. He was.
I mentioned
he was
before,
nowhere.
it felt like it's been a race
Can I
between Jorge
just
Martin and
call out
Francesco
Pedro
Bagnaia to
Acosta
outstupid
in the
each
middle
other,
of the job he's doing on that KTM
crashing
there.
at
When the
inopportune
next
times,
KTM is
bad
Brad
qualifying.
Binder, who's
Jorge
15
Martin's
seconds
inexplicable
behind.
pit stop
What
a couple
about
races
that?
ago where he dropped from 2nd to 14th,
Brad Binder won't believe it.
which I think is
See
a
him
loss
coming in
of
ninth.
18 points.
And he'll say who won, which is always a horrible feeling when you can't even see the podium. And when you find out that your rookie teammate to be is that far ahead on the same bike, yeah, that's Brad Binder will be doing some head scratching.
Jorge Martin has not won a Grand Prix
It's been 5
Since
months.
Le Mans.
Over 5
since
months.
France. That was back in the middle of May.
Wait.
He was on pole position on that occasion, and he did the double. He had the chance
Well,
to do
I got it.
it
Yeah,
this
sorry.
weekend,
He won at
but he
France
threw it
in
away
May.
yesterday.
So
However,
it's been
for the
it's
first
been
time
almost
since
5
May,
months
as
since
we
the last
enter
win.
the Japanese Grand Prix next weekend in October.
He choked
Jorge
it last
Martin
year.
is going
He
to
choked
extend
it
his lead in the
yesterday.
championship. He can even have a little look around in
Got
the
a few
corner
more
that cost
corners
him
to not
yesterday
screw it
as he
up.
takes win number 3 of the season in the Grand Prix. Across the
Win
line,
number 8 of his
Jorge
career,
Martin,
Jorge Martin
back
wins
on
the
top of
Indonesian
MotoGP
Grand
podium.
Prix. Pedro Acosta second, Pecco Bagnaia third, Franco Morbidelli fourth, Marco Bezzecchi fifth, Maverick Viñales sixth, Fabio
That
Quartararo
is
in
a big
7th,
statement
Brad
from
Binder
Martin
8th,
after
Johan
his
Zarco
mistake
9th.
yesterday.
Yeah, after his
So
mistake
that's a pass
yesterday, after
there.
getting past on
10th
the last
goes
lap
to
a week
Raul
ago, he wasn't
Fernandez.
happy with the
11th for Takaki
But what he did
Nakagami.
was
And
focused. He
12th
got here.
is Alex
The
Rins.
first laps, he was faster than everybody by about 0.7 of a second, and yeah, just been incredible today.
So,
Absolutely
5 months
incredible.
later, Jorge
Now,
Martin
he'll be in
finally
pain. He's broken the
back,
screen
or
of his
4.5
bike
months,
again.
he's
done
finally
that a
back
couple
on top of the
times this
podium.
season, hasn't he?
Tire
In
pressure for,
celebration. Oh, dear.
wait, number
Oh,
37,
dear.
Acosta.
Tire pressure for Pedro Acosta.
Except it's the 37 is Augusta
investigation.
Fernandez. They fixed it,
He's
31.
spent the whole race on his own.
Yeah.
They'll have set the tyre pressure, obviously assuming that he's going to be in some sort of fight. But as it turned out, he spent the whole race on his own.
That could be huge for the championship. You add 8 seconds.
That'd be
to
another
Pedro
4
Acosta's
points.
Time. It puts him back into 6th. It's 16 seconds, isn't it? Actually, it was 8 yesterday. It's 16 in the main race. So it could be a closer gap than 21 here.
It'd be
It's gonna be.
27.
I'm pretty
It's
certain unless
17.
they've got the data.
I was about to say that it's triggered something for the message to come up.
What they have to do then is do a double check. Go and check the tyre
Any
in
point,
person.
Yeah, you don't
It's
have to do that.
3:45 in the morning
Yeah,
where I
squeeze it
am, and
fits
I
the
need to
top
get
of
to
the
bed. I don't
pushes
know
on
who
it.
actually showed up to
Thumbs,
watch
two
this.
thumbs, though.
Yeah, two
Probably
thumbs.
aren't either
Oh,
hate
what a
yourself for
shame
staying
for
up this much,
Pedro
or you're from
Acosta.
Europe. Thanks to whoever did stick
Yeah,
through it.
when you ride all by
Hopefully you
yourself,
enjoyed it.
this is the
BowserJrXD
sort of
signing
thing that
off.
can happen.
Have a good
Jorge
one.
Martin will